Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I This is just so heavy on my heart about affirming. You know how you see all these videos on YouTube channel, and I've probably watched like over 125,375 million videos on manifestation and affirming and robotic affirming and any type of reprogramming and all this stuff, right? You're a personal development junkie, welcome to the club. I want to expose something that's on my heart, and I want to talk about when you're getting closer to God, when you're leaning into getting to know God more, you are building a closer relationship with him. However, you find that trying to affirm is not working in your favor. However, it's pulling towards more the will of God. So let's talk about a little bit of that sauce. And what I'm trying to say is, if you are in a place where you have been doing your best, not only trying, but actually doing the inner work, the inner healing, and people say, oh, I am the creator of my own reality, if you choose to believe that or not. But if you are in a place where you're like, I don't believe that, because if I was the creator of my own reality, my ex wouldn't have cheated on me, my wife wouldn't have walked out on me, or my husband wouldn't have left me, or my kids wouldn't misbehave, or this addiction would have gone away by now. I've been visualizing for X, Y, and so many amount of years. And so um you're in a place maybe where your disbelief is like, I'm not the creator of my reality, or maybe I am, but I feel like like my external world is not reflecting that. Maybe parts of it is, but all hell is breaking loose. You do have to understand that in this space, you're in a safe space, and it's okay for you to feel the way you're feeling. It's okay for you to feel your emotions. You're not by yourself. You're completely at the place where you're supposed to be at the right time with the right um, mindset for this, because this video is finding you exactly in the moment you need to hear it. And maybe again you're feeling like, I don't believe this, but what's happening is you're affirming, right? You're doing the affirmations, but you're feeling like it's not working, or you don't want to affirm something into your life that no longer belongs there. So I want to talk about the example that, for example, I have in my mind. So let's say girls talk about affirming for guys, okay, and vice versa, whatever. But let's talk about that example. So I personally, I'm going to talk because I have to talk from experience so that you can understand, man. Because look, so I was like, I do want to manifest like a such this person in my life, or blah blah blah, and I kept like trying to affirm, like I kept starting to affirm, whatever, and it worked. However, when I was in communication with this person, I didn't feel good. Like I felt so out of place. I don't know if you can relate, like this video, if you can relate. I felt so out of line. I felt so out of alignment. I felt so like, oh my God, like, what am I talking about? Like, why am I even talking to this person? Why am I forcing? Like, it feels like I'm forcing this relationship if I, like keep affirming this. I don't want to do that. My whole being and my body and my spirit and my soul is like, that's a contract. You have to let it go. This is a soul contract that you came here to learn a lesson, you learned it, and now it's time for you to move on. And so most people would say, oh, but keep affirming, and keep affirming. But my spirit is like, no. And I'm leaning more towards the will of God. So right now, I want to break that myth that if you're in the season where you are looking to live a life where you don't chase, you attract, then affirming for the wrong thing, for forcing things to come back into your life that were never meant to stay or be there, or have their assignment in your life is already completed. Something better needs to come into your life. Affirming for things that are the will of God is much different than affirming and forcing things into your life that are from your past. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is making sense. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts right now. If you want to share or drop a heart, if you agree. So, what's like this whole thing, I am like, okay, let's affirm. Like, yes, it's good to say your affirmations and journal and meditate and reprogram our subconscious mind and ET and FT and all these different tappings and techniques and chakras and, whatever, pakras and Pokemons, whatever. Um, yeah, all of that is great. However, what is the will of God, right? And so, what if you affirm Psalms 91 every day over your life? What if you affirm, God, I affirm that Jeremiah 29:11, you have a future and a hope for me, God. And I affirm that over my life. God, you want the best for me. Show me what the best is today. Because our human limited capabilities are just super tiny compared to the kingdom of God and what he has for us here. Um, so that's one way to affirming the will of God. I affirm the will of God for my life and for everybody listening to the sound of my voice. And so be intentional, be purposeful. And I get it. Like, for example, me, I'm like, um, I don't want to even say certain things, but I will say this because you guys know there's certain things you just really can't say at the moment, but I would say this. If you are, like I was attached to several outcomes, and if you're attached to certain things or people or relationships, it can be very hard to, not think about that situation or person and want to affirm that back into your life. But how does it make you feel? Like, that's the real question. It's like, how does affirming for something like that make you feel? So even let's talk about like affirming for man or woman to like you or love you, or how they like, and they say, oh yeah, at the beginning it's going to feel like you're being like you're manipulating people. Hopefully I'm saying that word the right way. You're manipulating people or whatever not. So for example, when they're like, oh, he's so obsessed with me, or she's obsessed with me, or whatever techniques, they're always thinking about me, they're always texting me. Like, for example, me, at least right now in this stage where I am, and feel free to leave your comments down below. It's your world, it's your reality. Everybody lives in their own world, right? I'm a non-judgmental person. I love every person. That's what God is calling me to do, to love my neighbor as I love myself. So I don't judge, I just love you, and I look at everything with the eyes of compassion, understanding, and love, wisdom, right? And so I personally, at least in this stage in my life, I'm not feeling okay, good about doing those type of things that make me feel like I'm forcing somebody to like me or perceive me a certain way. I do not care how people perceive me. That is not my role. I can, like, again, I can still affirm, you can still affirm, we can still affirm. However, what are we affirming? You have to, at least my thing is, like for me, manifestation works when I feel good about it, not when I'm trying to force an outcome, right? So for example, if I'm forcing somebody to be with me who I feel like I'm forcing, that's not attracting. That's chasing energy. I don't care how you put it. And if you want to do that work and you feel like you want to be that witch in 1975, where you want to do that black magic or witch magic or white magic or whatever you want to call it, to do this affirmation and to like manipulate people. For me, for example, it's like when I was in business. I mean, I'm still in business, but whatever. When I started, and when I say that because I'm talking about, I learned it before when I first started, when I was in business before, in a different company. I remember one of our like coaches or mentors or whatever, he, she, whatever, he would say, in our group circle, very often we would hear when they say that if you if you have to convince someone to get into business, you're going to have to convince them to stay in business, right? And that's so true. And it's the same thing with these affirmations, or this forceful way of hustle grinding to make people like you or love you or fit in. It's like, if I have to constantly affirm to have you like me, I'm going to constantly have to affirm for you to stay with me. And I don't want to do that. I want people to have freedom of thinking and freedom of speech and freedom of whatever they want to do and think. My job is to pray and have God do the work, because when the right person comes, they're only going to be thinking thoughts of pure love and thoughts of um, healthy sacrifices towards you. Yes, obsession, that your man and or woman can be obsessed over you in a healthy way. There's a healthy obsession, where meaning, like, if I meet somebody and I see the Jesus light shining through them, or I see this person for who they are, I'm love what I'm think that's going to come to me. So you become what you think about, right? Yes, people are a reflection of us, but we, like, for me at least, okay, at least I'm just talking for me, guys. If you can relate, like, this video, I just feel like a lot of people can relate. I feel in my heart, this is why I'm sharing this, that a lot of people can relate to this, that a lot of people right now, there's a group of people that are leaning towards the will of God, and they're leaning towards peace, and they're leaning towards chasing and not attracting, or in a better terms for this content, instead of um for I'm sorry, chasing, attracting. It's like attracting versus forcing, right? We don't want to force everybody. Sorry for this whole noise, guys. It's really crazy, but I had to get this video out. And so um yeah, we don't want to do any type of, at least I do not want to do forcing, okay? I'm sharing this with you because I feel like I feel like it could be liberating for you to feel like it's okay to not listen to everybody who's telling you this. Stop listening to things that don't make you feel good. If you're affirming and it doesn't make you feel good, even they're gonna say, oh yeah, well, just keep doing it. No, I don't feel like it's right, and I feel like I'm struggling even more. Like, you have to find what makes you feel good and what works for you. At least for me, all the good things in my life, positive situations and circumstances and positive outcomes that have happened in my life, they have always come as a result of me believing in God, believing that it's possible, believing that this is for me. What's meant to be is gonna be, and what's not is gonna fade away from me. I don't want to affirm the devil into my life. What if you're affirming this specific person? They're gonna come into your life and break your whole, like, life up into a million pieces, and then leave you busted and disgusted at the end of it. That's why when you see the people who are affirming, they say that, okay, they say it in their videos. Once you start affirming, you have to continue affirming. It is like, you cannot stop. It's literally a spell. That's why they call it a spell, right? That's why they call it affirming. You have to continuously continue this cycle. And, like, for me, I don't want to do that. Like, yet again, yes, there's different forms of affirming, but I rather say, God, let it be your will, and that's it. Like, I'm not going to stand in this mirror for 20 billion hours and affirm, okay? And you can affirm in your mind, like, things that make you feel good. At least for me, it doesn't make me feel good to, for example, how people say that it's like, you have to master or work on your internal world, not your external world. For me, when I'm like, if when I was affirming, or when I'm affirming, let's say, if I'm affirming, things outside of me. Oh, people like me, people love me, people this me, people give me money, bend over backwards, whatever the case may be. People, people, or all that with forcing things and people, and like what that's like a forceful thing. It feels so not good. So of course, in my mind 24/7, you want to be thinking thoughts of you know things that will mostly come from your internal, like things are always working out for me, right? Things are always working out for me, all things are working out in my favor. Like these are things that at least they don't, for me, okay? You can take them, that's why I'm recording this video. You can take them and apply them into your life, but I don't want to feel like I'm forcing people for anything, because it should be very natural, right? Like when you say things are always working out for me, that comes from an internal place. That doesn't come from like you trying to force things outside of you to work. It's just an internal knowing internally, right? When you say people love me, people like me, and it feels like it's not an internal thing. And sure, like, and I'm saying very specific. If you have to control like a specific person is what I'm talking about, or a specific situation. Because if I say things are always working out for me, and I want to reverse a little bit and go back to something, but let me continue here. If I say things are always working out for me, that means that anything from the highest good of God will work out for me. But if I say, oh, this specific car is going to be the one for me, and it has to work out, and it's working out in my favor, versus that could be your worst nightmare. They can repo that car in 3 months, versus saying, this car situation is working out for me. Whatever it turns out to me, is working out in my favor. Whether they decline it or approve it, I know it's working out for my highest good. You guys get where I'm coming from? So it's like at least for me, again, I am speaking for me, but I am recording this video because I want to be of value, and I hope that I am of value to you. That I personally have to feel good, okay? I don't know about you, but I feel like I have to feel good in order to manifest, because when I don't feel good and I feel like, oh my God, I'm forcing this problem and this situation to like vanish away. No, like find a different way to make it better. And when I say reverse, it's like the people thing, right? If you get specifically and you say, oh, he loves me and he likes me and he loves me, that's like controlling a person's free will, and that's not a good thing, right? You don't want somebody to control you, do you? You don't want to feel like somebody manipulates you, do you? No. Chances are you don't want to, okay? Everybody loves their free will, and you should allow other people to do the same with their life. Now, when I say reverse, I said people love me, people like me. That's okay, because it's generalized, okay? It's a thing that it's like not controlling. People love me, people like me. It's a good thought to have. It's something good. I don't want to make this video 20 billion hours long. You know me, I can keep talking on and on and on, but leave me your comments down below and let me know what are your thoughts about around this, and if you want me to make more content like this, diving a little bit deeper or into different sections of the types of affirmations that that are like the will of God, versus trying to control and manipulate, right? Because God is not going to control and manipulate anybody. God is just pure love. He just wants the best for every single person. This is why we are granted free will, right? I love you so much. Here's all the love. If you haven't checked out any of my other videos, this is a great time to go check them out. Okay, love you guys. Bye.